Hello, and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Steve, and my free hit is active for game week 29. Now, there's still a couple of spots in the team that are still up for grabs, as I have at least one player in the team that I don't particularly love, and there are still some spots that might change before the deadline. But on the whole, the free hit largely picks itself in game week 29. So there's nothing too much else to say for the intro. Let's just get straight into it. But remember to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, especially if you get any value out of the following content. Right, so this is the free hit team that I've got set up at the moment. So starting in net, starting in defense, we've got Sals and Aina in the team, so a double up on the Forest defense. These guys went straight into the team. One of the first set of transfers in. I've only made one set of transfers in, but I just started trying to construct the team, and there wasn't a lot of decisions in defense. Ipswich is one of the best games on paper. Probably one of the next best fixtures on paper is probably Wolves against Southampton. But the way in which Nottingham Forest have been resolute in defence and across the entire season just immediately had my gut saying that I've got to double up on this team. Aina for his attacking threat, and Sals is one of the top scoring goalkeepers in the game, so they went straight in. Gabriel is still in the team. He hasn't left my team on the free hit. He's one of the three remaining players, I think. So I've still got Gabriel, Mbumo, and Semenyo in the team. Gabriel is there because I think they've still got a pretty decent shot at a clean sheet this weekend. Of course, Gabriel also comes with the attacking threat, which we've been talking about all season. But considering Palmer hasn't really been firing in about the last 5 or 6 game weeks, I think, missing a penalty at the weekend. I still had Palmer in my team, holding him on for that Leicester fixture. Missing the penalty was a little bit rough. But also they're without Nicholas Jackson up front until sometime early April, and so Nkunku has been playing in Nicholas Jackson's spot. And he had a couple of shots in that Leicester game, which were nowhere near hitting the scoring areas of the goal. Super high and straight down the middle. He is not at all threatening to score goals. And so I can quite easily see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet here. One of the top 3, or probably top 2 best defenses in the league, and a pretty good block to the effective ownership. I don't even know where else I would go if I was going to sell Gabriel. This free hit also still has 2.4 million in the bank, so I could basically buy anyone else into this team that I want. But I don't even see a better option here, so Gabriel is in the team. Gvardiol is in because I think I got to at least try to double up on the Man City fixture, considering they're probably not too highly owned. I mean, Gvardiol is 21%, comes with attacking threat. I think he's scored a few goals this season as well. He's up to 5 goals from defense. Hopefully they could get a clean sheet against Brighton. I don't hold out tons of hope for the clean sheet. Gvardiol's mostly in there for some attacking threat and hoping for a clean sheet. But that basically rounds out the defense. Now, on the bench for the last 2 defensive spots, I haven't made changes to these 2 players yet, as I wasn't entirely sure where I was going to spend the funds, and I do have money invested in, say, Dean Huijsen. I'm probably going to change him before the deadline to someone like Aït-Nouri, but in case I wanted to, I don't know, make a big move for someone like Foden or De Bruyne or something like that, if we got some early team news, I was not sure if I was going to want to do that, and I might need that 2.4 million in the bank. But as the week's gone on, I don't think I'm going to be going in for any of the other Man City players as it stands. So Dean Huijsen's probably going to become Aït-Nouri, and I'm probably just going to leave Greaves on the bench because I don't Maybe I'll fill it up with one other spot, but I don't expect to go 3 players deep on my bench on a free hit, considering I've got a pick of all players and these guys are all pretty nailed on. So into the midfield, I held on to Semenyo because Brentford at home is a decent fixture. I've also held on to Mbumo because nailed on pens, owned by 42% of the game. You know, a couple of assists and a goal in the last few game weeks. He could quite easily score against Bournemouth, and that sort of ownership would probably kill the free hit quite a bit if I didn't have him in the team. But again, the last 2 spots in the midfield, or the 2 big spots in midfield, I'm not completely sold on them, and if I'm not even sold on them, I also don't see where I would be upgrading Mbumo. So Mbumo is basically in the team sort of by default. On the Bournemouth attack, I've brought in Clivett as well. I did catch big bits of the Bournemouth game at the weekend, and man, they are attacking super fluidly. The goal, I can't remember who scored it actually, but it was Kirkes going down the left-hand side, and it was a whole bunch of one-touch passing and movement through balls, and then a finish at the end, which was eventually ruled for offside, as I think it was Semenyo who was coming back from an offside position when he received the ball. But the whole movement was beautiful. Clivett just looks to be all over the place in attack. He's also got pens up his sleeve. I don't see how you don't have him in the team on a free hit. And so he was in pretty much straight away as well. And I haven't had second thoughts about him the whole time. The next player that made it into the midfield was Son. This was, I think I actually activated the wild card at the free hit before Spurs played last weekend. But anyway, Son got a penalty, scored the pen. A little bit of a Panenka, which he didn't hit very well at all. He didn't chip it up high enough, as if the keeper had have tried to scramble out of it, and had he gone the right way, he probably would have saved that Panenka penalty. But again, I mean, Fulham is not an easy game, especially away. But I'm struggling to fill out these spots on this free hit. I think that the power of the free hit in Gameweek 29 is I will easily get 11 players out into the field, obviously, but I also get to hold on to my team that I'll be getting back in Gameweek 30, which is looking very powerful. So that will be helping my team overall towards the season run-in. But on Gameweek 29 itself, I mean, Son is a good player. He's more than capable of getting big returns. He didn't start at the weekend, but when they needed goals, they brought on both Son and Maddison a little bit later into the match. How many minutes did he get? Yeah, he came on at halftime. I think Maddison came on at halftime as well, from memory. And so you can see that Postecoglou's definitely relying on Son to get the goals when they need him. And then he came on and scored, albeit a penalty. And so I think he probably starts against Fulham. Fulham's going to be quite a tough fixture. I just don't hold out a lot of hope for Spurs because they haven't been clicking super well recently. But Maddison did look a little bit sharp in that second half, and who knows, maybe he's swinging into a bit of form and managed to tee up Son out on the wing, and he might be able to come away with a couple of returns. But Son is in, and then Bruno Fernandes is the pick that I'm not super stoked about. He is mostly just there because it's Leicester. It's a fixtures play, and he's on penalties, and he is a bit of a dead ball specialist. I mean, he scored a great free kick at the weekend, Bruno Fernandes. Leicester also gave away a penalty, which was lazy, to say the least. The defender shouldn't at all have been making a challenge there. I think that's, who was he playing? That was the one against Chelsea where Palmer eventually missed the penalty. But they could quite easily do that against Manchester United as well. Bruno Fernandes got a good shot at sinking that pen. But again, I don't love the way that United have been playing. Hopefully they can get a win over Leicester. I would expect them to win this game on paper. Hopefully it's by 2 or 3 goals and Bruno Fernandes gets involved in something. I just hope he's limiting his long shots from outside the box, unless, of course, it's a dead ball and he's actually trying to work in the players around him. It's one of my pet peeves for Bruno Fernandes. I do not really rate him as a player, but as an FPL pick for this one game week, I think I have to have him in the team. By all means, if you've got a better option than Bruno Fernandes, I've got an extra 2.4 million to spend, probably a little bit less because I will upgrade my bench a little bit, and I'll probably put a second keeper in there as well, but I'm going to do that at the end of the week when I'm definitely nailed in for what I'm locking in for the weekend. But let me know if you've got a better shot out there than Bruno Fernandes. Up front, of course, I've got Haaland. We're on free hit. You've got to bring Haaland in. This is an anti-EO play, I suppose. I think he was down at like 21% ownership or something at the start of the week when I did activate the free hit. He has picked up about 8% more ownership. So he is getting a lot of purchases this week. And of course, he has to be in on the free hit. And my first free hit that I actually plugged in was before the Man City game, and I put Marmoush straight into the free hit team. Sat down ready to watch the full 90 of Man City play, only to see Marmoush on the bench, and I immediately ruled him out and kicked him out of the free hit team. I just can't be buying in a player that's got a risk of being benched on a free hit. I don't mind if it's some sort of really cheap player that's going to come in off the bench and I'm only going to use them every now and then. I've done that before with the likes of João Pedro and whatnot, especially at the end of last season. But if I'm going to be spending I think Marmoush was like 7.2 or something like that, it's just, I've got to get in starters 90 minutes for this one game week and just hope that they come away with some sort of return. So Haaland is in. He is my captain. I don't envisage myself removing the captaincy off Haaland. Chris Wood is probably going to end up, for all of those managers out there that cannot get Haaland in this week or don't want to lose the likes of Salah and Palmer to do it, as well as probably, unless they've got a few transfers up their sleeves, they're probably going to also have to incur hits in order to bring someone like Haaland in. I think Wood will probably be the most owned player and therefore probably the most captained, as he's got Ipswich away and he has been one of the informed players all season. So Wood's probably going to be pretty highly captained, but if I've got both of them, I've got to lump it on Haaland. I mean, last year's Golden Boot, it's Haaland, right? He could score a hat-trick in any game, doesn't really matter. So he's in. I've got Chris Wood in the team, finally, for the first time this season. And I'm still a little bit worried about him because, of course, his EO is probably going to be higher than Haaland. And so I'm really hoping that Wood does well because, of course, I want the Kiwi to do well in the Premier League. And he's having an outrageous season, doing really well out there. I've been gutted that I haven't been able to own him for a very long period of time. But even when he's in my team, I'm still a little bit worried about him because I won't be captaining him, and I'm sure he will have some pretty high ownership this game week. But it is going to be Haaland captain, Wood with the vice captaincy. I've got Strand Larsen on the bench as my 8th attacker. I don't know who I would start Strand Larsen over instead of any of my other 7 attackers. Like I said, Aït-Nouri would probably come in for Dean Huijsen as a bit more of a backup in case anyone misses out for the weekend. And I'll probably chuck a backup goalkeeper in and maybe even a third defender if I've got the extra 2.4 million to spend because, I mean, why not? But it's really that Bruno Fernandes spot in midfield that's irking me. I've been following Manchester United all season. They've been pretty bad, but Leicester have also been pretty terrible, and I don't really see any better options out there. So that's the free hit team. That's what I'll be rolling with in game week 29, assuming we don't get any late-breaking injury news or some sort of, I don't know, big team leak from Man City, which has me seriously questioning whether or not I should go against Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the free hit team. If you've got any alternative options that I'm missing in midfield, especially for this Bruno Fernandes spot, as I will be considering those quite closely. But all right, well, that wraps up this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment to tell us what you think. Good luck for the game week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.